One of the classes of business that we find here at Rogue is most often overcharged for their workers' compensation insurance are landscapers. And the reason for this is because landscapers have a very dynamic business. You know this. If you're watching this video, you're probably own a landscaping business, or you're considering starting or purchasing a landscaping business, or you work in a landscaping business, because why else would you watch a video about landscapers workers' comp? But my point here is the dynamic nature of the business causes a lot of issues. So one, highly seasonal, right? You know, during the summertime, especially if you're in the north, your staff ramps way up. You may have a lot of 1099 people that aren't necessarily on the standard W-2 payroll. You may, bring people in for different jobs. If you do any kind of stone work or work with pavers, you may have specific groups that you bring in or subcontractors that you bring in to do certain aspects of that work that you don't do. You may often pick up, and this is something you have to be very careful about, is picking up handyman work or carpentry work or any kind of remodeling work in addition to the standard landscaping. Because what happens is you can be easily reclassified from landscaping to carpentry, which is a more expensive class code. And when that happens, all of a sudden, a large amount of payroll that you're not expecting could be moved from the standard landscaping class to a standard carpentry class, and you're paying twice as much for your workers' compensation. Now, you're upset, you're frustrated, you have to spend time on this problem. If you don't know how to fix the problem, then you're gonna end up coming out of pocket in a short amount of time for a large amount of cash flow. All of these things create a nightmare scenario for landscapers. Now, there are a few ways to solve these problems. First and foremost, and this is an undeniable plug for Rogue Risk, you need to work with an insurance agent that understands the challenges that you face and is going to help you put processes and procedures in place to remediate this, to make sure that if you have a question or something happens, that you're doing things the right way so you don't get that surprise audit bill. That is what we're working towards. We're working towards a safer work environment in general, so reducing the total number of claims, any claims that you do have, getting those people back to work sooner, so that keeps your experience mod down, and in general, trying to keep your overall premiums just based on class code allocation and remuneration allocation, so the payroll that you're paying, down, so there's no overcharges, or that you're not overpaying for something that you don't need. And these are difficult things to do. So the next piece, and you need to work with a professional who's going to help you get that done. And this is what we do all day long. Pick up the phone, give us a call, visit us at roguerisk.com. We would love to be your partner, or at least talk to you, see if we're a good fit. So now, things that you can do. First, if you do anything other than standard landscaping work, the work that falls in the class code of landscaping, make sure that you are paying your employees and marking off that work. So if you have someone who does 50% of their time, they're mowing lawns and weed whacking, and 50% of the time they're doing some small remodeling work, maybe around sheds or gazebos or pool houses as part of your landscaping work, you need to mark off in your payroll system the amount of payroll that is going towards their landscaping work and the amount of payroll that's going towards their carpentry remodeling work. And the reason for that is, if you don't do that, then that individual's entire payroll is going to go towards the more expensive class code. And that's going to cost you real money, particularly if you're going from something like landscaping to carpentry. And you want to avoid that as much as possible. So by being a little meticulous, and you got to be a little detail-oriented or have someone on your team who can be, by pulling off the payroll and applying it to the class code by the amount of time that they're working, or however you do it, and we can talk through this, you're going to find that you're able to keep people properly classed and only pay that more expensive class code when you should be paying it, which is the time that person is spending. And you're not gonna, you can try not to do that. I have a lot of people who come to me as new clients who have tried to kind of fudge the system a little bit, like, oh, we don't want to report that they, rebuilt that gazebo over there as part of the landscaping project because we know that's more expensive. And what ends up happening is eventually you get caught. And when you get caught, the auditor is going to look back not just at the last year, but at up to 3 years prior at least. And if they start to find irregularities, well, now you're gonna get hit with a huge, huge audit bill, and you're gonna have 60 days to pay it, and where is that cash gonna come from? That is what we want to avoid at all costs. And oftentimes, just by thinking through these processes and kind of doing things the right way, as much as it can be a pain and as much as you may feel like it's unnecessary, by doing it the right way, you are going to save yourself from that big audit bill that really cripples an entire season for you. And I've seen some terrible things happen. People get hammered with an audit bill in February, and now they don't have the cash to ramp up their team for the jobs that they have in the spring, and it can cause all kinds of chaos that you just want to avoid. So, you know, by making sure that you're properly classing people, by breaking out their payroll, you're going to see some, over time, some substantial decreases in your overall cost of insurance. The total cost of risk is what we call it. So if you have questions about workers' comp for your landscaping business, this is what we do here at Rogue. Give us a call, 518-960-6600, or you can visit us online at roguerisk.com. You can email us, gorogue@roguerisk.com. Either way, I'm sure there's a link or form around this video someplace too, but we look forward to working with you.